Guys, I just recently found some very hard hitting news that I really don't know how to tell you guys about. This is definitely was not expecting this. It caught me off very serious guard, and just making this video to talk about it is extremely tough. I I have a disease, and I don't know if it's curable. So apparently, according to who is a dumb organization, they have officially classified gaming addiction as a disorder. Yeah, they officially have claimed it. So, by definition, I have a disease, a disorder that impairs me. I mean, you might too. If you like to play video games, if you play them constantly, and you fit these symptoms of gaming disorder, gaming addiction disorder, you too, technically, according to WHO, have a disease. It officially passed about maybe like earlier last year. They kind of proposed a thing that to make it an official disorder, and guess what? Saturday night, it passed. So we're gonna talk about it, and let's go ahead and detail it. I'm looking at an article here. So the thing is, the World Health Organization, so WHO, they just recently met at the Geneva, at the World Health Meet or whatever. Anyways, they've been trying to vote to officially classify gaming addiction as a disease in the International Classification of Diseases in 2022. I mean, this has been a work in progress for quite some time, and it says many who are not well versed in the gaming world might find the idea difficult to believe, but the truth of the matter is gaming has come a long way in recent years. Players have endless options from console and computer games to mobile games, and many multiplayer games are being played while communicating with an online streaming community. So people have less reason every day to leave their couch and put the controllers down. These people, the World Health Organization, are saying gaming is just too accessible. I mean, I could play Fortnite on here. I can play it on my PS4. I can play it on my Switch on the go. Gaming is too accessible this day and age. In 2019, you can literally game anytime, anywhere, at any moment's notice with a press of a button. And the World Health Organization sees that as an issue for, cause of gaming disorder. So yeah, though they announced last year, again, like I mentioned, they had plans to classify this as a disease. They released the 11th edition of their international classification of diseases, and it's being accepted internationally, which it's accepted internationally as a standard for reporting health and disease conditions. So this is like the end all be all of diagnosing people with a health disorder. Anyways, I mean, that's something else on its own. But the fact is, who has been trying to get gaming addiction put into that? Gaming addiction put into that. So, it's used by medical practitioners and stuff like that, physicians, researchers, to basically categorize these conditions and things like that. So it's pretty official. Now, who made a draft of this new proposal, and the vote didn't happen back then late last year, but now a new vote has happened again at this thing in Geneva. Anyways, this will go into effect. The WHO has officially included gaming disorders in the ICD. It was accepted, and January 1st, 2022, it will go into effect. So we got, what, 3 years left, guys, before we're diagnosed officially. So This is what it says. Gaming addiction or disorder can be defined by a pattern of persistent or recurrent gaming behavior, digital gaming or video gaming, which may be online, example, over the internet, or offline, manifested by impaired control over gaming. Examples given are onset, frequency, intensity, duration, termination, context. Number 2, increasing priority given to the gaming to the extent that gaming takes precedence over other life interests and daily activities. And number 3, continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences. The behavioral pattern is of sufficient severity to result in significant impairment in personal, family, social, educational, occupational, or other important areas of functioning. The pattern of gaming behavior may be continuous or episodic and recurrent. The gaming behavior and other features are normally evident over a period of at least 12 months in order for a diagnosis to be assigned, although the required duration may be shortened if all diagnostic requirements are met and symptoms are severe. So, 3 different ways. First was impaired control over gaming. So basically, you have no idea how long you're playing. You don't know how to quit. You do it all the time. It's like 24/7 playing video games. I know in some internet cafes and past history, that's actually physically possible. People have done that. People have played some games, like some of those MMOs and stuff, literally until they've died because of no sleep, no eating, nothing. Then number 2 was priority given to the gaming. So people were like not taking care of their kids. People aren't going to work. People aren't going to school. It's just causing their marriages, their social life, just things to crumble all around them. That sounds reasonable and stuff, right? And then continuation or escalation despite the occurrence of negative consequences. So let's say, for whatever reason, somebody keeps going to the hospital, or somebody loses their job, or just a whole bunch of stuff is trickling down. Okay. These are all reasonable reasons why. But then, like it says, other things must be normally evident over a period of at least 12 months in order for a diagnosis to be assigned, although the required duration may be shortened if all the requirements are met and symptoms are severe. How much fucking gaming does somebody have to do to reach that point? To where it gets that bad, to where the symptoms are so severe that they get diagnosed with it. I know recently there's been a lot of talk about gamers and YouTubers and collectors being absolutely addicted to gaming, that they just have no priority, no concern over anything else. It's an addiction. That word gets thrown around a lot, way too much. People make some speculation and stuff about how it affects people's livelihoods and work and stuff. I mean, there is a for sure possibility that, sure, it could affect somebody's grades. Let's say little Jimmy is in 7th or 8th grade and he has a state exam coming up for the end of the year to pass over to high school. He doesn't study. Can that be singly attributed to gaming if he plays video games during that time? Can that solely be placed on that person's example? I honestly don't think so, because A, that could be an example of bad parenting. The parents could tell that kid, put that controller down and get to studying, if they really wanted to. B, maybe the kid thinks he's going to pass the test anyway. Maybe he's smart. Does that still falter in? Maybe he failed. Maybe he's just a prick. Maybe he's lazy. Maybe he didn't game that much. Like, how much is too much gaming? You could still only play a video game for an hour the night before and still fail the test. So does that count as an addiction? I'm trying to figure out the line here. I have absolutely no idea. Obviously, this might be catered more towards adults. It doesn't really specify whether this is for all ages or adults only, things like that. But, there's several factors in social performance and stuff, negative occurrences in somebody's life and everything. I don't think just solely placing a form of media as a reason for somebody to have negative aspects in their life occur as a disorder. To me, a disorder is something that happens naturally within the body. Like you get addicted to drugs because it does something to you. You get addicted to alcohol because it does something to you. You get addicted to masturbation because it does something to you. You get addicted to eating because it does something to you. Gaming, sure, it might make you depressed. I've seen that being thrown around a lot, that if you don't get out enough, you don't get enough vitamin D, enough sunlight, enough exercise, sure. But I just don't see it as that classification. I might be wrong here. Who knows? I might be rambling a bit. I honestly just, I don't know. Continuing on, it says the definition implies that gaming becomes a disease, namely an addiction, when an individual begins to place gaming over real-life interactions and responsibilities. In most cases, this prioritizing of gaming activities negatively impacts their lives. The aim is to make it easier to identify the disorder and for the patient to receive appropriate treatment. Currently, reported numbers for gaming addiction is relatively low, but since the classification has only just been made official, that number may increase. So, again, this goes into effect officially 2022. Numbers are low. It's understandable. If something can negatively impact your life, it's not good for you. I just wouldn't classify it as a freaking disease. I would just say maybe a bad life choice, a bad decision. Bad choices, bad decisions. It's not a disease. I do not see that. I could be completely wrong. I might be setting off a lot of people that are going to come here and comment. That's great. I'm personally reading my own take on this article right here. And then apparently there are some people who aren't on board with this. For one, the Entertainment Software Association, who made the ESRB, said last year they do not agree with this definition, saying that video games are not addictive, and they pushed back on it. Apparently, because of examples like Fortnite and games like that being so popular, causing stuff like divorces, there was like a divorce story that came out. People were saying that's not true. And according to a sample, apparently, taken over by a top divorce website in the UK in January 2018, over 200 people reported ending their relationships because of their partner's gaming addiction. Numerous gaming companies have even been sued who claim to have developed a gaming addiction. So, I don't know, man. To me, that's a bit far-fetched. Solely blaming gaming on a marriage because somebody's addicted to it. To me, that sounds like it just goes beyond just the gaming. If your marriage is that bad to where somebody does not want to work things out with you and would rather just play a game and not communicate and talk, then you've probably enabled it by that point. To marry somebody and it suddenly just pop up and be a cause, that doesn't seem really realistic to me. I know if I was marrying somebody, they would know ahead of time, obviously, before the marriage even starts, that I'm playing video games. So to me, 200 is a pretty small number, to be quite honest, for the United Kingdom. But to me, that just seems like some bourgeois. That seems like something that might not be all there. There's not details that are going into this research, this so-called study. To me, it's like when you have a girlfriend that wants to talk to you and you're like, look, babe, can I just play my game this weekend? And whatever. And it's like, there could be other arguments and stuff. There's a middle ground somewhere in that story is what I'm trying to say. I don't know. I do not see an organization as big as the WHO, the World Health Organization, needing to get involved to help provide professional services for people that have a gaming addiction, because what do you do if gaming isn't the only thing that person's addicted to? What if there's bigger things here, bigger parts of the picture here? Again, drugs, alcohol, maybe lack of sleep, mental health. They could have some kind of disorder with their actual brain, some kind of disability that causes them to be mentally unstable and stuff like that. I don't think you could just solely attribute it to gaming addiction is what I'm trying to get here. So yeah, I don't know. I just, the fact that it's being labeled as a disease seems a little bit much. I'm pretty sure there's going to be other organizations that will be opposing this whole official classification and stuff. And I don't know. I'm not a doctor. You know what I mean? But guys, what do you honestly think about this? Comment down below. Do you think this is a good step? Do you think gaming addiction does exist? Do you think that there's bigger parts of the picture that this group obviously is missing out that damages marriages? Because for me, I don't think gaming addiction is a reason why families or things fall apart. There's more than just that. There's miscommunication, things like that. Could be attributed just a little bit to video games, but no, it's not a fucking disease in my opinion. Comment down below, guys. If you're brand new again, feel free to throw a subscription. Don't forget to like, dislike. I can't wait to see the dislikes on this. Oh, Eric, it's clickbait, blah, blah, blah. Technically, it's not clickbait. It is classified as a disease, so technically I have a disease, but I go to work. I have a job. I have a degree, guys, believe it or not, magna cum laude at my university, and I take care of my priorities. So, fuck who for thinking that I have a disease. Fuck who. That should be a good t-shirt. Fuck who. Anyways, guys, have a great day. I'll see you next time. Peace out. Consider supporting 8-Bit Eric on Patreon for just $1 a month. Link below in the description.